Maven.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I promise I'll be taking you on how to sew a straight skirt, but today I'll be showing you how to sew a straight skirt with a front zipper, like something like this. So the measurement I'm going to be using for today is our waist measurement, which will be 28.5 for the person I'm making it for. Then hips measurement 36, the distance between the waist and the hips 7.5, then the length of the skirt I'll be using 20.5. This is how it will look like. This is the front view where we'll have the zip, this as in the zip part, then this is the back view. And I'm also going to be showing you how to join it with a lining, not just sewing the skirt like that. So this is my fabric. I fold into two, then I refold again into 4, leaving my zip allowance. So the first thing we are going to be taking is our waist measurement. The waist measurement is 28.5. I'm going to be dividing it into 4. I've divided it into 4, which will give me 7.1 inch. This is my middle point, the line before the zip allowance. So I take my tape and I measure. Then I'll be giving 2 inches allowance. Remember, I showed you that the distance between the waist and the hips is 7.5. For you to know your own distance between the waist and the hips, you could actually just minus your waist from your hips. Like this one is 36, the person's waist is 28.5. When you subtract this from this, you get 7.5. So it means that the distance between the waist and the hips of this person is 7.5. So you could just take your ruler and rule out this part. This will show you where to measure your hips. So the hips I'm using for today is 36. I'll divide 36 into 4. This is how to use your tape to measure. Divide 36 into 4. What we will get is 9. For this one, I'll be giving 1.5 inch allowance. Why? Because my darts will not get to this hip aspect. So the dart will only end from here to like 5 inches. So why I gave 2 here, so that I'll remove when I remove half, it will become 1.5. Then here too will become 1.5. Then for your knee measurement, which is the down part of the skirt, since I divided my hips into 4, I got 9. So to get the hips, you just remove 1 inch from that 9 or 1.5, depending on how taper you want your skirt to be. So I'm going to be removing 1 because I don't want it so tight for the person, but you could remove 1.5 depending on your choice. I also give my sewing allowance. For this person, the length of the skirt is 20, but I measured out 21.5. I'm going to be using half to join the band, and also I'll be using 1 for folding. So this is the knee measurement, this is the waist, this is the hip, and this is the knee measurement. This is your zip allowance, but today our zip will be at the front, so we're going to be using a longer zip. This is an open and close zip. This is what we'll be using for our front skirt zip, not like the normal skirt zip. So before I cut, I'm going to measure out the dart. Now because this is for a smaller girl, for a girl around 12 years old, you're not meant, as in you don't use the normal dart which we use for an adult. We use for an adult, we use like 4.5 inch, then you remove half, which will become 4. But because this is a smaller girl, it's now that you use your sewing skill. You know that this is a smaller person, she will not be so wide as that. You can use 4. Then when you remove half from the 4, you get 3.5. But a normal adult, you could use 4.5. But it's always advisable that you know the nipple distance. When you know the nipple distance of a customer, that is what you use for your darts, for your top or for your skirt. So I'll be using 4, which is this. Then remember, I'll take out half when sewing my dart. I want the length of my dart to be 5 inches. I want my dart to be 5 inches. So you measure all through. Use your ruler and rule. Rule your line to get to the 5 inches you've measured. Then this is how you do the second, because that is how your dart will be. Can you all see this? You rule your line, then you rule like this, as in you touch the 4 here, but at the up you hold from the half. So when you are sewing, this is where you will hold at this 4 inches. Then you take it from here, so that when you measure from here to this place, you get 3.5. Then when you open it, it becomes 7. Now I'm about to trace out what I've already measured. If you don't have a French curve, you could use your hand to do it. You use a ruler to join this part. Use your hand to just go. Remember, this is our waist, this is your hip, and this is your knee measurement, which is where you want your skirt to get to. The distance between your waist and your hips, I use 7.5. Then this is your knee measurement. When I divided my measurement for hips, I got 9. So to get my knee, I removed 1 inch from my 9, which is 8. So I measure from the beginning point to get 8, and then my allowance. So I'm about to cut. So this is the finished part. So you see, we are done cutting the skirt. This is our front. Yeah, sorry, this is our back, which will be at the back. This is our front pattern, which is this area. So after doing this, it's now time to cut your lining. You take out one of the parts because you want to cut your lining. So you just open up your lining, you get your lining, you just open it up, and then you fold. this is our back panel. When cutting, when you see there's an excess here, in order not to waste your lining or your fabric, you shift it a bit again, because when sewing you must learn how not to waste fabrics or lining. Remember, this is our middle point. I'm not going to cut anything here. I'm only going to trace out what I've already cut for the front. Then I cut out. Cut out the lining for the back pattern. Then I want to cut out for the front pattern. We fold into two as well. See, we fold into two. And then we place it on top of it. Can you all see? Place it on top of it and then you cut. Remember, this is into two different pieces, so it means that you also cut it exactly the same way it is. Done cutting it. Now, because you won't want the lining to show after sewing your straight skirt, that is your pencil skirt, you have to, from the length of the lining alone, you have to reduce. You have to take out 1 1/4 or 1 inch, as in 1 inch. You cut it out because you don't want your lining to show after making your skirt. Maybe begin to adjust and adjust. No, you now cut out 1 inch. So I bring the back pattern, I place it on top of each other. Only the lining. We are not cutting out the fabric itself, only the lining. Can you all see? I've placed them together. So I take out one and quarter, 1¼ it means I'm going to cut off this part so that the lining will become shorter than the fabric itself. So anytime you are joining a straight dress, a skirt, a long straight skirt, this is how, if you want to add line to it, this is how you do it. Now I'm going to cut off so that the lining will become shorter than the fabric. See, I've cut it off. Now can you all see that the lining is now shorter? Is 1¼ shorter than the normal fabric. We are on track. The front, this is the front and this is the back. So it is now time, we are done cutting our pencil skirt. It is now time to actually join the fabric. So I'll be showing you an example of how to join the fabric, because before you do the darts, you must have joined the fabrics before, the fabric with the lining before doing your dart. Before sewing your zip, the first thing you join is your lining. So when you are joining your lining, make sure you check for the front. We have the right side of a fabric and the wrong side, but lining, there is no front and there's no back. But for the fabric, for any fabric, there's always a front and a back. So this is our front, this is our back. You just use a chalk to make a mark, to know your back. So when you want to join your lining, you take it down. Remember, it is still shorter. You take it down the length of your fabric and then you sew like this. You take your machine and then you sew. You could take out 1/2 inch allowance. You could take out 1/2 inch allowance. So I'm going to go to my machine and sew this and come back to show you guys how it looks like before I show you the rest thing on how to do. Always ensure to back stitch when you want to start sewing or at the end of each sewing. Remember, I place my lining in front, not at the back. Anytime you are trying to join a fabric with lining, you always place your lining in front of the fabric, not at the back. Can you all see? I'm done sewing it. So what I do is, it is still shorter, remember, so I raise my lining to touch the fabric. Let me repeat myself. Remember, it is still shorter. I cut off the lining. So now, because I want to join them together, I'll raise my lining to touch my fabric. Then I sew. We take out 1/2 inch too. This is our zip area. Take out 1/2 inch and then you sew. If you're a beginner, you could actually use your tape to measure in order for you to get accurate sewing. I do the same thing too for the sides. I raise my lining to touch the fabric. The same thing I did there, that's the same thing I'm going to do here. Can you all see? So the same the way I did it here, I'll do it for the other front, which is the 2 zip part, and I'll do it for the back, the same thing. So I'll do it, then I'll now show you what I did. So I'm done joining my lining to my fabric. This is the finished look. Remember, it's still, I've not turned it yet. This is the front and this is my back. So what I do, I take it and I turn it. Remember, after turning, you give it a good press. It's always advisable, you know, you iron lines in your fabric. This is it. Are you seeing? This is my line, this is my fabric. I'll be seeing, I'll not be seeing the lining. I've done this one also. You use your scissors and that part. So this is my front. This is my front, and this is my back. And we all see, guys, this is a neat finishing. So what you do before you do your dart, it's advisable you go to you iron, you press the side, iron it properly so that it will not, the line will not be disturbing your measurement. We do the same thing in every. So I'll do mine and then we will continue. So I'm done ironing all my fabric, so it is time to put our dart. Remember, the front is where we have the long zipper. So because we have used 1/2 inch to turn the lining and the fabric, our zip will now become 1 inch. At the initial stage when cutting, I took out 1.5 zip from 1.5 inch for my zip allowance, but because I am using a lining to sew this skirt, I've used 1/2 inch to turn my fabric, so it's now remaining 1 inch. So you rule the 1 inch straight down to the length of the skirt. Then for our dart, at the beginning of this tutorial, I told you that this skirt is for a younger girl around 12 years inch, and her nipple to nipple is 7.5. So I'm going to use 1/2 inch dress. I'm going to make it 8, which now for her dart, I'm going to be using 4 inches for her dart. From the middle point, I'll measure out 4 inches, which is this line here. Then I'm going to use 1/2 to join it, which after joining, what I should have at each side should be 3.5. So when you take out 4, as in you measure out from here, you measure out 4 inches, then you remove 1/2 that you are going to use to join, which after removing it, if you use your tape to measure, it should be 3.5. So this is how you join your lining. Remember, this is my 4, this is her 4 inches. Then this is the part you are going to sew. So you join it to touch. Can you all see? So when you want to now, after doing this, you do it at the back also, which I've already done. Then this is the back pattern of the skirt, the back pattern of the skirt. This is it. So I also do the same thing. I measure out 4 inches from my middle point, which is the folded part, and I remove half. So I join it. When I measure from here, I should get 3.5 from this part. You do it at this side, you do it at this side, because the dart will be at this place and at this place. Then at the front it will be at this place and at this place. Remember, before measuring your dart, please make sure you use your ruler to measure out your 1 inch, because you're not going to measure your dart from the beginning of your zip allowance. This is where you measure out your dart, from this your zip allowance. Please take note of that. So you do it at the 4 place. Now it's time for me to sew my dart. This is how you hold the part you measured your 4 inches. But for an adult, you don't use 4, you measure out 4.5, then take out half from the 4.5, which will now become 4. So for a smaller child, this is what I'm using. For an adult, please don't use 4, use 4.5. So you hold your skirt, one of your skirts, at this your 4 inches. Can you see? This is where you hold it, then you sew. You do the same thing, everything. So I'm going to be showing you on how I will do one, then we'll do the 4 from it. This is your fabric. Remember, as I said, you hold your fabric at that your 4 inch. Can you also, you fold it and then you sew. Always remember to back stitch at the beginning and the end of all your sewing. Okay, I'm done with the dart. If you measure from this point, which is our zip point, you see that is exactly 3.5. If you measure the same thing from here, also from the zip point, see it's 3.5. If you measure from the middle point to this part, is 3.5, 3.5. Then when you open it, it will become 7. So now I'm going to use pin. The skirt is almost getting ready. You just use pin to hold this part, the zip area. You just use pin to join them together, because we want to take out the measurement. Just use pin and you hold it. So you open. But better still, you could just sew it straight down. You sew this part straight down. Definitely you are going to lose it later to fix your zip, but in order to get an accurate measurement, I will advise you sew it straight down. Don't lock it, just sew it straight down. After taking your side measurement, you can now lose it to fix your zip. So I'll advise we sew it for easy understanding and better measurements. So we say you don't close it, because you still lose it later to fix your zip. This is what we get after joining it. Remember, this will be at the front. So join the two pieces together, and then it's now time to measure. The hips measurement, the waist measurement I'm using for today is 28.5. So I'm going to be dividing it into two. I'll divide into two. You place the tape of you place your head of your, as in the tape of your, the head of your tape at where you want your measurement to be. Then the part you get here is your middle point. Remember, I told you that the distance of this, from the distance of this skirt, the distance between the waist and the hip of this skirt is 7.5. So this is where I will measure my hips, the person's hips. So the person's hips is 36. 36 into 2 is 18. So you must learn calculation. Is 18. Can you all see? So the knee, since I removed 1 from my hips, which is which I now got 8. So my hips, my waist measure, my knee measurement will now be 8 times 4, which is 32. 32 into 2 will have 16. Can we all see? When covering your skirt, please don't take out the hips from the beginning, so that it does not look somehow. This one you could use your ruler to join them together. So now you just use pin to hold this part. You always use pin to secure your fabric while sewing. Now I take to the machine and sew. So I'm joining the parts. I'm done getting my side. Remember, I started from the back, from this part, which is the zip allowance. I measured out. So when you measure out all these things, this is the person's waist, the hip, and the knee. Remember, I divided it into 2. My initial measurement I divided into 2 to get this. So we are almost done with the skirt. I now turn it to the front. The skirt is almost prepared. Can we all see? It's almost prepared. Remember, this will be and my front. So if you are a beginner, I will advise, because we're about to put band. After the band, we'll put the zip. If you're a beginner and maybe you are not too sure of your measurement, please, before putting your band or your zip, you could just, you are welcome back. Guys, remember I was showing you this is almost the finished part of the skirt. This is the front. So for a beginner, please, our advice, you could just open up this part and check if it's really your measurement before putting your band. So now I'll loose out this part. I'll get my razor and I'll loose out that zip part I've initially closed. Then I'll measure the round circumference of this waist. I'll measure it round because it will be a band. Can you just, what I have here is 30 and half. So I'll bring back my fabric and I'll cut You can cut it depending on the length you want for the band. I want my band to be 2 inches when folded, so I'm going to take out half, and I'm going to take out 5 inches, and I'll tell you why I'm taking out 5 inches when I'm done. Just make sure that the fabric you are cutting will be enough for the joining. Just make sure that the fabric you are cutting, please, should be enough, so you will not have a rough work by joining different fabric. Then I will cut out. Remember, I took 5 inches for the wideness. This fabric is folded into 2. I told you that I want 2 inches length for my band, so I took out 5 inches, and then I fold. Can you all see? So when I fold, if you check it, it will be 2 and half. Then I'm going to use half to join this band to this skirt. Then we'll now have 2 inches. Can you all see? You can go and buy what they call ST, and then you iron it at the wrong side of the fabric, so that your band will actually stand. When you don't put an ST, it's going to be dropping. So you can put an ST so that it's going to stand before joining it on this fabric. Can you all see? You have to put an ST. Remember, you put an ST and iron it on this band before joining it. Please, for beginners, please always make sure you are with your tape. Even as someone making clothes, you must always be with your tape to be accurate. Remember, I taught you, whenever you want to start sewing, please always back stitch. Can you all see? To close that part so that it does not lose. So you could just be taking half. down to the end. Also, remember, I backstitch immediately I got to the end of my fabric. So we are done joining our band. Can we see the skirt is already looking lovely? Please always iron at every step of your sewing to make your work look neater. So after joining the band, please you take it to your weaving machine, and then you weave this part so your work will be neat. You weave the inside. The other side does not need weaving because it's already attached to the lining. This is the part you will weave this part. Then now it is time to do our last thing, which is to fix the zip. Remember, in any pencil skirt, it's always advisable for it to have an opening, a slit, so that its skirt will not be so tight. So for this person, I'm going to be using 5.5 inch slits. Yes, I want the slit to start from this aspect. I don't want it so long, but it depends on your choice. If you want it longer, it's your choice. But for this I'm going to be using 5.5. So I'm going to reloose that my zip. I'm going to release it down to this part. So now I want to join my zip. I'm going to lose out everything, but I've already used my chalk to show exactly where I want my zip to stop. I want my slit to start. So now I want to join our zip. I'm going to be showing you how to join a zip to this skirt. I want to fix the zip. Remember, I told you at the beginning of this tutorial that we're going to be using an open and close zip because of where you want the skirt to get the zip to get to. So I marked out here from where my slit to start. It means that this is where my zip will stop. I take my zip, I use the back part. The way I'm teaching you now is the way to join a dress zip or as a dress zip or as any other kind of zip that is not a skirt. This is how you join it. This is the ending of my zip. I make sure that I place it at that 5.5 that I measured. Can you all see? This is the back of the zip. I place it on the front of the fabric. Please watch carefully. Make sure that your zipper is not passing your 1 inch, please. Can you see? It's not passing your 1 inch. Then you begin to sew. Make sure it's not passing your 1 inch. If you watch and it's not passing my 1 inch, I'm placing it directly on top of the 1 inch. If not so, you encroach on the measurement. Remember to always back stitch when you get to the end of it. Then I turn this side, I bring my other part of the zip, and then I join the two. You just take your chalk at this part to measure out your 1 inch. Make sure that these two sides are touching each other. It should be on the same line. Can you see? When you open, it should be on the same line. So you could just pin it. And turn it back. Wait. Make sure you are sewing. Your thread should be very close to the teeth. Should be very close to the teeth, but not so close, not on top of the teeth. Remember, I'm always checking if I'm not encroaching. It's on top of my. So I'm done joining my zip. Can we all see? I'm going, before cutting out this excess, please make sure that you take your zip down, then you cut out and leave small inch that you join inside. Please make sure you take your zip down. So our skirt is almost done. This remaining part, you could just decide to iron it down, or you sew a straight line. You just sew like this. Then you sew like this. And like this. So let me quickly do that for us to see the finish. Then you turn your footer. Yes. Can you all see? I'm going to. Can we all see the finished part of our skirt looking so lovely? Please always make sure that the lines are always joining. Can we all see? This is the finished part of our skirt. Now when you zip it down, can you all see how lovely it is? You just wear like this, tie it like size. Can you all see? So when you want to just close it from this part, remember we are using open and close zip. Can you all see? This is the finished part of the skirt. This is our back and this is our front. If my video has been helpful, guys, please give your girl a thumbs up by liking, share, and you subscribe to my video. My next video will be a skirt with a side slit. This is an open, this is a long zipper. I'm going to be showing you how to cut a side slit. So please subscribe to your channel and give your girl a comment. Bye.
Grips on your ways, front way, back way. You know that I don't play. Streets not safe, but I never run away, even when I'm away.